Hey guys, Ben Crosswhite here, spine fitness specialist, and I'm here to show you simple steps to take to reduce or eliminate your neck and shoulder pain. Now, as everyone knows in the medical profession, the neck is married to the shoulders. Typically they run hand in hand. If you have a neck issue, eventually you're gonna start having a shoulder issue. So I'm gonna explain the muscle groups used, and I'm gonna explain what to do exactly to help eliminate this once and for all, as long as you're doing it on a weekly basis. So this exercise is a must to do when you're trying to strengthen properly with your paraspinal muscles and really help with cervical strength in general. It activates a lot of muscle groups throughout, but you're gonna start coming back in 90 degrees in the armpit, 90 degrees in the elbow. And once you get in this position, you're activating a lot of rear delts, a lot of trapezius, and we're gonna drop those elbows down to the ribs. And then from this position, we're doing one more motion back. It's gonna be a retraction back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Keep the shoulders down and retracted. Hold about 5 seconds. Come forward again a few inches. We're gonna come back up to 90 and then back forward again. Full extension every time. Again, this is hitting a lot of rhomboids in this retraction. As you go forward, you're gonna start engaging the lats, different angles of the lats. Then you're gonna hit more rear delts, trapezius, scalenes, and some of the upper, smaller stabilizing muscles. So this next exercise is called a Y raise, and I'm sure you've seen it before. It's great to do, very lightweight. Now I consider myself a pretty strong guy, generally speaking, and you can see I have the 5-pound dumbbell. So take that into account that this is a very light exercise, lightweight in the exercise. Make sure you do extremely lightweight, because we're also going to do an isometric hold at the top, and I'll explain that. But this Y raise is great because it's going to hit a lot of those upper paraspinal muscles and your splenius capitis, the scalenes, a lot of the ones that are smaller that help to stabilize and attach to that occipital bone and stabilize the entire upper portion of the cervical spine. That's C1 through C7. So from this position, I like to do thumbs up. It's going to open that shoulder girdle a little bit more. It's going to help the shoulders to where you're not going to feel as much pain. And from this position, keeping a neutral neck and all the things that we do, we're going up into a Y figure. We're going to hold for about 5 seconds. And what this does, having the isometric hold at the top with a slow return back in, is it's going to start engaging and stabilizing using the smaller muscles. The first initial movement, the concentric movement up, is going to be a lot of trapezius and a lot of anterior deltoid. That hold at the top is what's going to hit those smaller stabilizing muscles. As you can see, I'm keeping a neutral neck. I'm going as high as I can, keeping comfortable with it, and still keeping tension from gravity. This exercise is called Scapular Rows. It's great for the subscap area under the shoulder blade, which is neglected a lot in people, especially people with bad backs, bad necks, bad shoulders. So building this muscle up and the surrounding muscles around that, this one is great to do. You're gonna hinge the hips, keeping your back straight. You don't wanna round your back and flex your spine. You're gonna keep it straight, keep a neutral neck as always, and your knees are slightly bent. From this position, you're gonna have the band anchored at a higher point, about 45 degrees coming up. And then from this position, full extension out. You want to separate the shoulder blades and rotate them as much as you can. And then we're pulling back, keeping palms down. Your wrists are high, your elbows are high. You don't want to drop too low. You're going to engage other muscles such as the lats. And from this position, we're going to keep it tight. One arm's coming up, full extension, full retraction back. And then the left arm, same thing, retract it back. So you have one at constant tension. And you're pulling, keeping those elbows and wrists high without flexion in the back or even the wrist. A lot of people will turn the wrist in. So just keep going on that. Try to hit 12 to 15 reps in order to get good muscular endurance to help stabilize that spine and take some tension off. You need to do at least 10 to 15 reps, but 12 to 15 would be ideal. Next, we're gonna do external rotations using a mini band. I love the mini bands. You can do a lot with them. I have the absolute lightest band there is, so take that into account. don't do one too heavy initially, work your way up. You're gonna start by putting both thumbs in either end. You're gonna turn your palms up and gripping both sides of the bands. Now, just like a normal external rotation that I'm sure you've done before, or with a PT or with a trainer, you do want to keep the elbows in tight to the ribs. You don't want them coming off or you'll start recruiting some of the bigger muscle groups. And in here, we're trying to hit the teres minor, we're trying to hit the supraspinatus, the hardest, and that's why I like the palm up version instead of a neutral grip coming out this way and thumb up. So here, supination in the hands, gripping thumbs in, and then you're gonna extend both out, coming as far as you can without pain. It's very important, without pain, and then slow coming back in. Another thing I wanna see is that there's constant tension on the band. You don't wanna come in where there's slack. You wanna keep tension on those muscle groups. And from this position, keeping the elbows in, you're coming out nice and wide and back in. You're repeating. This is gonna be a higher rep count at a lighter weight. The smaller muscles, you have to do a little bit higher rep count with smaller weight or resistance. So we're gonna do 25 reps. If you feel pain at all, outside of a burning muscular pain, then you do wanna stop and return whenever you feel better. Talk to your trainer, talk to your physician or even PT and make sure it's good for you to do. But this is a great one to really strengthen the teres minor specifically and the supraspinatus. All right, so this stretch that we're gonna do, because we're not doing all exercises here, is a very simple but very effective stretch to throw in daily. Make sure you're doing it at least once a day, if not 2 or 3 times a day. It's great for opening the shoulders up. It's great for the head of the humerus really detaching a little bit and having a little space inside that acromion process of your shoulder girdle. So it'll pull that out a little bit. It'll take some pressure off those tendons and hopefully give you a little space in there and make you feel a little better in the neck and the shoulders. So what you wanna do is have your hands facing each other, neutral grip here, and you're gonna slowly sink your body down. It's a very simple movement. You're stretching down to where your shoulder blades are fully extended, and you're putting all your weight eventually onto that dead hang. You're gonna start to feel a little traction in your back. You're gonna may even feel your back crack a little bit and your vertebrae separate, giving you a little bit more space. And obviously the shoulder girdle and the neck are gonna open up as well. It's gonna be a really effective thing to do daily, if not twice a day. So this next thing is really important with neck pain and shoulder pain, and it is called trigger point therapy. Or trigger release therapy. And it's with a hard ball. Now this is a ball I got off Amazon. It's kind of like a lacrosse ball, very hard. You can do one softer, but you don't want to do it too big or you can't get deep down into those muscles. And the back is hard to stretch. The upper back is a very hard area to stretch. Stretching is, even still, if you were able to, is a little bit different than what we're doing here. This is pushing into the muscle where you have a trigger point, which basically in the fascial or muscle is gonna draw in that fascia really tight, and it's gonna hold it and cause all of that to pull in together, kind of like a spider web. So what you wanna do is have direct pressure into that trigger point through dry needling, but this is great because you can do it multiple times a day. You can even do direct pressure like massage therapy, but again, it's gonna be multiple times a day you can do this, and massage therapy you cannot. So you wanna put this in your back. You're gonna lean up against the wall. The further you take your feet out, the more pressure you're gonna put in. Roll around, find a spot. You need about 90 seconds to release the trigger. And the more painful it is, it's probably where it needs to be. So you can't tell, but the ball is just to my right of my spine, my cervical spine and thoracic spine. I start high and I lean into it, hitting some of the upper muscles and finding where the tender and painful spots are before sinking in. And then you can drop the ball a little bit and work into the rhomboids and then down into even the QL and the lower erectors. It's a great thing to do, even back and forth in little round motions until you find that trigger, and then sink into it. Try not to fight against it, because that's not gonna do any good. You wanna sink into it, relax, let the muscle relax into the ball, and work that trigger out. Again, you're gonna need a good 90 seconds at least. I would do it multiple times a day and you will feel a lot of relief. Okay, so this is a foam roller press with a shoulder extension. I'll show you that. It's basically stretching that shoulder girdle out real good, just like we did in the dead hang, but a little bit different. more anterior loaded. But you want to start with the band, and that's going to add a little resistance. It's going to help with a better stretch and work some of those muscles that you don't work doing a lot of these other exercises. So you're going to put the band behind your back. You're going to have the band right around the thumb from this point. It's going to be under your armpits. We're going to take the foam roller and put it about eye level on the wall. From this position, your palms are going to be facing each other. Your wrists are going to be on that foam roller. And then we're going to drive your arms up. Okay, so palms are in, and from this position, you're leaning into the foam roller. Take your feet back from the wall a little bit, and you're driving your hands up, turning your palms towards the wall, and then taking your chest and head towards that wall, stretching the shoulders out. You're gonna hold a few seconds and then go back into position, rotating your wrists. So make sure when you press up, you're gonna turn your palms forward, get a good stretch, and coming back into about eye level here. Now you may need to keep adjusting your hands, they might slide out, but this is a great one to do, even 10, 12 reps. A couple times a week would be excellent, 3 times, 4 times a week, even better, and you'll feel a big difference. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video on how to eliminate or reduce your shoulder and neck pain. I hope it helps. Make sure you do it weekly, if not bi-weekly. They're great things to do. Send me a message, let me know how it worked for you or any concerns or comments. I'd love to hear about them. CrosswayAthleticClub.com, and make sure you subscribe and put the alert setting on so you get the new videos. We're gonna do one every week, and I promise you're gonna enjoy them.